Now, I always have a rule on the show. New information, new opinion. I don't get embedded in stuff. New information, new opinion. I just had to eliminate one of my picks. I had the Giants plus 3.5. It's out. Malik Neighbors is out. Cincinnati's going to score some points. And you got to score points. I thought Malik Neighbors, I was going to do a DraftKings thing. I thought Malik was going to have a really, really, really big game night for the Giants. He's out. It's not a good bet anymore. They don't have the firepower to match up. Cincinnati's going to score some points. And New York, I thought, was going to score more points, but I took that one out. So I got 4, not 5. New information, new opinion. Here's our blazing 5.
That's a hot one. Let's blaze it up.
Fire it up.
It's Colin's Blazin' 5. Cardinals and Packers.
I really like Green Bay minus 5.5. Romeo, Doubs, Christian Watson returning, so they're getting healthy. They lead the NFL in big plays, and a couple of their big play guys are back. Jordan Love, multiple touchdown passes in 7 straight games, tied for the longest streak, believe it or not, in the NFL. Listen, the Cardinals get off to bad starts. They've trailed by at least 10-plus points at halftime in 3 straight games, and their third down defense is horrible. What does that mean? I love Arizona's offense, but they're going to trail, and they're going to struggle to keep Green Bay off the field. The Packers' offense this season, even with Malik Willis, Jordan Love, has been substantial. So I think a Green Bay team getting healthy at home, takes a lead, keeps Kyler Murray and that offense on the bench. I like the Packers to win and cover 33-24.
Chargers at Broncos.
I don't think Denver's good enough to win 4 straight games. I'm going to take the Chargers off a bye week. They have both their tackles back minus 3. So they're getting healthier. It's an offensive coach and a good quarterback in a bye week. They get Derwin James off suspension, too. Harbaugh, against rookie quarterbacks, has eaten them alive. They complete 57% of their throws. And by the way, Bo Nix is young. And if you look at the Chargers' defense this season, again, it's been really good. Outstanding. The Broncos' 3 straight wins have been over the Raiders, Jets, and Bucks. They're averaging 1.4 points per drive. That's 29th in the NFL. I'm going to take the Chargers to win that football game 27-20. I will eat the points.
Lions at Cowboys.
Again, I'm going to take Detroit coming off a bye with Ben Johnson and Jared Goff. Well balanced on offense. They run and pass. Goff over the last 2 games is completing 88% of his throws. That's because PFF has their O-line as number 2. I think it's number 1. Aiden Hutchinson, outside of Fred Warner, is the highest-rated defensive player in the league. He is just a monster. And the Cowboys, since week 2, they're averaging 21 points a game. They're a BB gun. Their games, this is a really big thing. Dallas is coming off 3 straight physical games. Think about this. Steelers, Giants, and Baltimore. Big physical games. And their 3 wins have been against Justin Fields, Daniel Jones, and Deshaun Watson. This is a total step up in class for the Cowboys, who can't run the football and don't stop it particularly well. And the Lions have a great O-line and 2 backs I like. I'm going to say the Lions win and cover 34-28. I'm loving the favorites.
Bills at Jets.
Except here, I like the Bills to win. I'm going to take the points with the Jets plus 2.5. It's weird when teams get interim coaches. It's a division rival. 3 of the last 4 meetings decided by 1 possession. By the way, the Jets' losses have been to Minnesota, maybe the best team in the league, and the Broncos, a game they should have won. And their defense is allowing fewer yards per play than any other team in the league. Meanwhile, Bills have 16 players on the Thursday injury report. Josh Allen is reeling. His last 4 games against the Jets, as J-Mac noted this week, have not been good. 74 passer rating. And we got to be honest about the Jets defense. It's outstanding. It completely shut down Minnesota in the second half. I think this is a low-scoring, close game. I'm going to take the points. I think it's a thrilling game. I'm going to take the Bills to win 24-23, but I will take the points with the Jets. That's my blazing 4. I took out the Giants game. Malik Neighbors out. I'm not rolling. If I had a 5th game, there's 2 I think are interesting. I think Philadelphia, although I didn't want to take another favorite. I don't like big favorites. I think Philadelphia could mash Cleveland. I like Chicago against Jacksonville, although teams that go to overseas on a regular basis generally do well, so I don't think it's good enough to put in the Blazing 5. But I do think Chicago's going to win and Philadelphia's going to win. It's a rare week where I like favorites, a lot of favorites. The Giants was a dog. I had to take that one out once Malik Neighbors got hurt. And J. Mac will have his picks in an hour and a half. Anything jump out to you that you do like?
Well, there's 9 home underdogs this week. I saw one stat. This is the most in like a decade. You got to tread very cautiously with home dogs.
But they're not going to go 8-1.
Agreed, totally. But with Neighbors out, wouldn't you just flip to Bengals?
No, because everybody's been telling me to bet Joe Burrow for 4 weeks, and my takeaway is this defense is the worst in the league. So the Giants with Neighbors, I thought, would win. Without Neighbors, I think it's close.
They had the Ravens dead to rights. I mean, it was over. 10 points.
They've had a lot of teams dead to rights. They are atrocious defensively.
Also true, yes.
Albert Breer, Monday Morning Quarterback, is joining us now live. So, I want to pose a question to you. I was really very reticent to embrace Brock Purdy. And then about 4 weeks ago, he had a game, and I thought, you know what, he's more mobile and athletic than I think. Mm-hmm. He tends to get leads because of Kyle Shanahan, distribution, good decisions. Playing with a lead in the NFL at halftime, you win about 65% of your games. I think, and I watched him last night against the 2-time Pro Bowler Geno Smith, and he's a better player than Geno Smith, and everybody thinks Geno's pretty good. My takeaway is he's proven himself he'll get a contract. Your sourcing, what do you hear? Do you think he has another level to prove, or do you think like in-house he's their guy going forward?
Well, let me just start with what I know, and then I'll tell you what I think. What I know is that they are planning on paying him after the year. And Kyle Shanahan said as much to me over the summer. We talked about how they build a team differently. He said we've been through that before. We went through it with Jimmy Garoppolo when Garoppolo became the highest paid quarterback in football. And so there was a real acknowledgement there that they are going to do this, and they do feel that confident. And they felt that way about him, Colin, going back to his rookie year. I mean, Kyle told me, like, based on the tape, like, this is the type of player he's going to be. And they really feel like he's becoming that type of player. Now, what I think is, like, what we're seeing over the last month is something we haven't seen before, which is the type of player that you need to have when you're putting him on that sort of contract, who's going to have to deal with some holes on the roster because you can't pay everybody. And so having to play without Christian McCaffrey, having to play without George Kittle, having to play without Deebo Samuel, having those guys come back from injury, then having to deal with Brandon Ayuk, who hadn't been out there all summer. There have been a lot of moving parts on the offense. Trent Williams wasn't even there during training camp. So just a lot of moving parts over the last 2 months, and nobody asked for any of that, and nobody asked for them to be 3-3 right now. But we've seen a guy who can go out and make plays on his own. You see the scramble plays. You see him churning out first downs with his legs. I'm not comparing him to Tom Brady. So don't get me wrong here. But I still remember at the beginning of Brady's career, because of where he was drafted, people were so reticent to put him on the same level as Peyton Manning. He got called a game manager. He's got a great coach, a great system, all of that different stuff. And we wound up finding out the truth in time. I don't think Brock Purdy's going to be Tom Brady. Again, don't get me wrong on that, but I do think there's that piece of it where a guy doesn't live down his draft position and people can't get over where he was drafted. Yeah. This guy's a really, really good player and a much better player than people have given him credit for.
Tony Romo and Kurt Warner were undrafted, so he's obviously good.